Hello and welcome to Palmer Sport at Bedford Autodrome. We're here today for our big hot hatch test of the year. We've got 14 cars ranging from a Panda Sporting to an Audi S3. Today we're on the circuit doing a variety of tests. Tomorrow we'll be on some great B roads. Hopefully at the end of it we'll be able to say what our favourite hot hatch of the year is.
Bedford Autodrome was the perfect place for the opening round of our hot hatch brawl. Its west circuit has a challenging combination of short straights, hard braking zones and both slow and fast corners, and on it we soon separated the best drivers' cars in the field from the also-rans. We had a pretty broad bunch of hot hatchbacks to test, ranging from the 100 horsepower front-wheel drive Fiat Panda to the 260 horse four-wheel drive Audi S3, but all of them were subject to the same measurements. We used satellite timing gear to log acceleration, peak speed, braking and fastest lap times. Armed with those figures, we factored in their respective handling and desirability merits and took price into consideration, and finally came up with a definitive hot hatch rating. The most impressive car on the track was Renault's Megane R26. It was only a second slower than the S3 despite giving up 2 driven wheels and 34 horsepower to the big hitting Audi. The biggest letdown? Peugeot's 207 GT, which disappointed everyone who drove it, and set a fastest lap time less than 2 seconds quicker than that of the likeable Fiat Panda, despite having 50 horsepower more.
So the Civic came in instead of the Astra.
As the 3's gone up to 5.
Because that's our wild card. Sorry, what's gone up?
That's the 3. The problem is anything
What
that's
happens
done.
to the Focus then?
Honestly, I don't think the Focus.
So after much deliberation, we've reduced our 14 cars down to 6. They are the Audi S3, Renault Megane R26, Renault Clio 197, Golf GTI and Fiat Leon Cupra. 6th place actually was yet to decide. We can't really make our mind up between the Civic Type R and the Ford Focus ST, so we're going to drive them back to back on the road this evening to Ludlow and make our decision there.
Except we couldn't. The journey to Ludlow just wasn't revealing enough to separate the Focus ST and Civic Type R, so both went through to day 2 of our test, along with the Golf GTI, Fiat Leon Cupra, Audi S3, Renault Clio 197 and Renault Megane R26. The Astra VXR, Mazda 3 MPS, Mini Cooper S, Fiat Panda 100 horsepower, Golf R32, Fiesta ST and the Peugeot 207 GT all fell by the wayside. We headed into Wales to find some B roads twisty enough to provide us with an overall hot hatch champion. Having earned the right to compete on day 2 with their objective hot hatch credentials, our 7 finalists now had to blow us away where it really matters.
Any surprises so far, Steve?
Big surprise so far is the Renault for me. I think it's fantastic. The last one I drove really wasn't very good at all. It was very rough and very ragged. Whereas this one, it's not just quick, but it's extremely refined too. And I think over most give and take roads, it's probably the quickest car here.
First of all was the Civic. It was way too stiff and unforgiving to cope with the bumpy, wet tarmac under its wheels, and just got left behind in the end. Curiously inadequate too was the Leon Cupra, which simply lacked the breadth of ability to cope with everything we could throw at it, and so 7 became 5. 2 firm old favourites fell next, but the fact that neither the Golf GTI or the Focus ST made the top 3 just goes to show how much better hot hatches have become in the last year or so. Few of us could actually pick fault with either the VW or the Ford on the day. other than to say that they just lacked that final sheen of dynamic brilliance required to make the final cut. Third place went to the Renault Clio 197, which, considering its 16k price tag and its relatively modest 200 horsepower, is no mean achievement. Second overall was Audi's mighty S3, which really proved itself as an incredibly fast and surprisingly engaging all-weather performer.
Well, it's near the end of the second day on our hot hatch test, and although we're still debating the positions, there's no doubt on the winner. The Megane R26 is a great enthusiast car, and it's our hot hatch choice.